Hello everyone, this is your host Shruti Subha and I have Digvijay Sir for the interview and special thanks to Bragya Taba for the video. So let's begin the interview, sir. So I have a few questions. Um, so let's start with something tricky. So what do you think is part? Be a teacher or a professor?
uh, Professor, is it?
Like being a teacher, like teaching others, or do you think learning is more hard when you were at the student?
Teaching is harder. Learning, basically, everything is up to you. You have all the parameters that you can control. But while teaching, you have to take into account different groups of students. Okay, so and each student has their own capability to discovery. So you have to cater to each need individually or as a group, and then you have to cater your teaching appropriately. So that is how.
So, and what do you think is like secretly that makes you laugh about the students' mess?
Yes. So what makes you laugh is, I mean, we as teachers also have been through the same phases, and we know what the students are feeling, and we know what we are going to say, and we know what their perspective is on that matter. So we kind of know what the end goal is from the student perspective as well. So that silently makes us laugh.
Okay. And what is the best piece of advice you have received as a student and you would like to pass it on as a teacher?
I mean, everyone. So yeah, there are multiple advices. The advice that
Like, but the an advice which is actually applicable and not something like as working is the key.
Whereas, so I mean, yeah, there are numerous advices which were very very crucial to me. One of the advice that I got probably in plus 12. One of our teachers, no, from math teachers, so he used to tell us that scoring good marks, because what to say, speak, preparing for exam and knowing how to study. So preparing for exam and preparing to know is two different assets. Okay. So preparing to know, you have some sort of a motivation, some sort of a zeal to study, and you have some sort of a driving force. And that might not always uh, reflect on your marks. Okay. And then studying for the exam is basically you prepare some sort of questions, say you prepare some sort of problems. And if you are fortunate, sometimes you are fortunate, and then you get those sort of questions and you score good marks. But that does not mean that you know the topic very, very well. And that was one of the good suggestion that then one of my users.
Okay. So this might be a little funny, but let's kind of tell us. Uh, so like if we say knowledge is power, do you agree?
Yeah, to some set.
So if you have powers, do you feel like we are superheroes?
Uh, yeah, then so some extent. I mean, as teachers, we help students guide in their careers and in their future. But if you are thinking in terms of uh, academics, in terms of research, then some scientists basically work in bleeding edge. So those kind of uh, nurture out and literally into the future, better futures. Yes, we indeed, at least in sciences, we are definite. We knowledge is God.
Okay. So so in colleges or school, you always say good morning. So not only students but also people, they might be having a bad morning. But so do you feel it is necessary to every time say good morning?
Not exactly, but at least, I mean, if you have promise, I mean, tired day was like, that is a different issue. But in general, if you wish good morning, I mean, I feel myself in a good mood. I mean, anyways, yeah, but it's not mandatory.
When teachers whisper to each other in the staff room, is it about us?
No, not everything is about you. Yeah, just like you all have your own sort of problems. We also have our own sort of problems. So we generally we discuss those problems as teachers.
Like we have some favoritism in features. Do you also have favoritism between students?
No. Sometimes, for example, if I give some sort of a responsibility in sort of some sort of activities, that time I do have it. But in terms of academics, in terms of studies, no.
True. And if teachers say there are no silly questions, but those are really silly questions, so can we really ask them?
Yes. Actually, you should ask the silly questions.
Do you feel it is silly to even you?
No, I mean, and sometimes like sometimes if you have taught few things in that class, and then after going through all the explanations, then you ask again something redundant, then that becomes a silly question. But if there is something that you are not focused on and the class are not dealt, but you take it for granted, that is not a silly question.
Okay. We say we learn from our mistakes. So should we be allowed to make more mistakes in our exams?
Not quantitatively, qualitatively yes. Like quantitatively, as in if you have a pass marks of 20, I advise you to get at least 20.
Si- Okay. Um, when you say this is this is my last question, but you still have many more questions, then why do you say this is our last questions?
When we are teaching.
Yeah.
Probably last question for the class. But see, I mean, what's different from college studies and from your higher secondary studies is in college, a lot of the topics are kind of open ended. Okay, so we leave it for the students, for the faculty to discuss beyond the class. Okay, so that's why we say it's the last question for that class, but it's a open ended.
So there are two students. One of them who is like naturally smart, but the other one is not really smart, but kind of hardworking. So which one would you prefer?
Both.
Oh,
No, I mean, in general, both. But in the long term, if you ask me, probably the hardworking students will be better.
uh, if a student is unprepared the whole year and the case studies na, oh, and he or she studies one night before the exam but still tops the exam, do you consider him or her as a good student?
No, that goes back to the answer that I gave before, right? So preparing for exams and preparing for yourself to understand are two different was. Preparing for exams, sometimes you might get lucky. One day preparation, lot of lucky questions, lot of lucky answers. You might get good marks, but that doesn't mean that you have very good grasp of courses.
Thank you, sir. This is Danny.